what's going on, everybody? Just gonna do some charting, talk along the way, kind of talk to myself, but like always, give you guys the process of pretty much what I go through. And then, this is kind of at the macro level. If you're looking for plays and information on the micro level, those are going to be in the Discord during the day. I'll put a link to it down in the description. So make sure you check that out. I predominantly look at price action, right? So I started with the strat, and I still use a lot of that when I'm looking for price action moves. So the nice thing is you have patterns in the strat. They're very basic patterns, so it's easy to pick up and start understanding price action, and then adding things like order blocks and support resistance areas, and why price reacts certain way it does at certain points. So anyway, with that being said, let's get to some charting. Going to start with the indexes, in this case DIA. I'm looking at it on the monthly right now. Just again, to do that is to give me the bigger picture. I get to see the big picture of what's going on. Right now, you can pretty much see, take magnet off here, you can pretty much see that it's going sideways. Up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down. So not a lot of movement here. Banks, vacation stuff like cruise lines, airlines, cars, manufacturers, those all kind of trade within DIA. DI is just going sideways right now. So I personally never really trade options for DIA, but if you did, we'll kind of move to the weekly right quick. If you did trade options, just know that you're probably going to get messed around with, in this chop area here. So looking at the weekly, and when I charted this, I believe last week, I was doing it on the weekly. So I wanted to see some, price move down, probably to this fair value gap kind of area here. On the weekly, we had a really weak break of structure. So break of structure is when we've moved into a trend, right? So in this case, our trend was low, low. So we kind of went down, down. And now we're kind of going back up. So truthfully, why is that not deleting? Okay, there we go. Truthfully, this area here is going to be our market structure break to be looking for an uptrend again. So really a weak one here, weak break of structure on the upside, and then our market structure breaks. So this, pretty much doesn't even count as a market structure break. Yes, it broke above it, but it pretty much rejected itself here around this support resistance flip area that we have around the 348.75. But I usually look at the wicks of resistance areas. So liquidity hasn't been taken out at all to the upside. So I'm still looking for some downside move, and probably down to this fair value gap. I'd be looking for some support around 330. Anyway, that's going to be DIA. Let's go look at tech right quick. I'll go back to the monthly. I mean, we just been screaming on upwards on the monthly. Now, the thing that worries me here, we have a pretty big imbalance on the month. This is massive, all the way from 322 to 346. This is an order book imbalance, so got to be careful here because, well, these things eventually get filled back up. You don't typically see crazy imbalances that don't get filled, right? I mean, we have some down here, but they acted as support, so that's kind of what you look for, right? You're going to look for imbalances and see if they actually act as support or or not, right? You fall through. So in this case, this imbalance acted as support. So to me, I would mark it as an imbalance, but it's definitely support. You can look at it on the chart that way. And then if we move back to the week, so that previously marked imbalance, there we go. That's what it looks like on the weekly scale here. So tested, and then we came right back out of it. So I'm still looking for downside. I want to see a move down again to this imbalance area. I want to see this imbalance area act as some support. You'll also notice the indicator here added a support and resistance zone. So I'll mark that. And we can see why, because over here, rejected and dropped. Now we flip through so it becomes support. So ideally, maybe we'll come back this way. That area there, and then give a nice move up. Yeah, just, you know, again, playing these fair value gaps or the imbalances, whatever you want to call them. I kind of interchange just because the indicator says FVG, but my templates all say imbalance IMB. Anyway, so yeah, inside week. So we have a 2-1. Realistically, I mean, nobody really knows which way the market's going to go, but I'd be looking for a 2-1-2 down to start taking out some of the stop losses or the stops that people have in. What do I mean by that? Well, we have pivot machine gun set up across the board here. I mean, geez, 1, 2, 3, 4. It just keeps going. We need to have higher lows and at least 5 of them for a pivot machine gun, and we have that, a lot of it. So here's some accumulation here. So that's an area to keep in mind too. That could end up being a area of interest if we were to come back down, but hopefully we don't come back down that much. We're in some deep trouble if the market drops like that. All right, so that's QQQ. Let's go to SPY. SPY playing out the same way as QQQ for the most part. If we look at it on the monthly right quick, you know, we had a pretty solid sideways period for a bit here, and then we've kind of broken out of that. So if I were to be looking for an area of support or resistance, let's move to the weekly to see if we can see anything there. So let's see, our trend was this way, this way, this way, lower, 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 lower. Right? Stop. Go away thing. There we go. So take the lowest low, and this is going to be our market structure break here. That's what we want to see. So market structure break. Now, was it strong? Not really. We broke above it, but when you break above a market structure break, or when you plot a market structure break, you're, like I said, taking the lowest low, going to the high pivot point of that, and, you know, dragging that across. You want to see a lot of push through. Big, you know, green candles. What do I mean by that? Well, let's zoom out a little bit here. Oh, might not end up seeing any like I want to show you. Don't really have a good example of that. Okay, well, I mean, while this isn't a market structure, but you want to see, I want to see some, you know, nice green candles to show that we're going to have a push up, because what you really want to be able to do is get in on the return. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say, you know, here's our market structure break. We get a nice push up. Well, what pivots took that order up, right? Like, so now in this case, I'd be looking at this guy to be my order block, and for price to come back down this direction for a test. And I want to see it, the order block, hold as support, and then we have it move back up. But with that being a really weak market structure break, I'll just go ahead and leave this here. This is going to be my demand order block. And get rid of that. Still got we have an imbalance that got filled, it looks like, so I'll take that guy off the chart. Take the little guy off the chart, take that little one off the chart. Those are on like the minute time frame, I think. So we have the imbalance up here. If I go to the day, what do I have on? Where is this? Like the minute? Trying to figure out where that text is coming from. Yeah, it was the minute. So I'm just gonna kind of clear some older stuff out here. All right, so goodness gracious, can't get this scroll thing under control. Okay, yep. So again, oh, this is the minute. I'll go back to the day now. Looks all weird. Yeah, we had our area of rejection. Wonder why. If we scroll sideways, can we see why we might have? Yeah, so there's a fair value gap here. Let's map that right quick. Go put the magnet back on. That actually makes me curious. So we filled the imbalance. And interestingly enough, this is also an order block, bearish order block there, kind of that green bar that's sitting there right before the massive drop. So yeah, we filled the imbalance. Well, actually, we did fill the imbalance. We also went into that order block. So if I actually change that to an order block, that's going to be a supply zone. So we drop down from that area. Now, that is a good potential reason why price moved down. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking for continued movement to the downside. Like to kind of see it come this way a little bit more, probably to that support resistance area. I mean, look, we still have a bunch of fair value gaps or imbalances. So yeah, this would probably be a decent area down here to see it come to 419, 420, and then move back up. Again, you got to have movement going both directions. If it just goes up, which everybody loves because it's in their portfolio or whatever, but that's not healthy. So things need a breather. All right, so that's the markets. Let's take a look at some of the tickers that our strap bot in the Discord has spit out. So here we go. We got some fail to D King's always a fun one. Fail to down. I'm not gonna really chart that one though. So we have PMG the downside. Amazon, Meta, and Tesla have just been moving up. Again, this is the week, so let's go take a look at those charts right quick. So Meta, yeah, just been going up, up, up. Definitely didn't go down. I haven't entered it here. I want to see a breather, but we haven't gotten it yet. So at this point, we have, what is this, an imbalance on the month. So we have filled this imbalance. I can take that out now. That is filled. We have, don't know why that's charted there. But, I mean, if you wanted to go long, you could. Again, the target area that I have is up here. I definitely still wanted to see a bit of a sell-off, a healthy sell-off, to get into look for an entry. But hasn't presented it yet. So that was Meta. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla kind of has that indecision candle there. Did go 2 up on the week, but kind of came back in. Imbalance on what time frame? Probably the daily there. Yep, daily imbalance. So be looking again for a breather. Let's say down this direction here. This is a good example of that market structure break I was talking about earlier. So again, our trend, we're on the weekly, our trend has been down, right? Down, 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 down. No, down still. So escape that. Can't really delete that. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, our market structure break is here, or it could be up here where this liquidity is. Just depends. I was looking for a shorter term play, but this was a nice push through with a lot of imbalance, green candles, strong green candles with an imbalance. So now this demand order block area is what I'd be looking for if I was going to be getting a sniper entry. But because this is a massive time frame, what you could also do is this right here, and that would be your entry zone. And then I'd flip down to a smaller time frame, like the hour, the 2 hours, 30 minutes, whatever. And I'd be looking for a price to come back down here somewhere. And then when I see it reverse out on a smaller time zone or time frame, smaller time frame, then that'd be my long entry at that point. Healthy move down to give you a nice stronger move up. Tesla. All right, what else? Failed 2 ups. Intel, Nvidia. Hey man, Nvidia's just been on a tear. Yeah, failed 2 up, but another great example of a ridiculous market structure break, our lowest low. So we go on the weekly. There's your market structure break. And let's say it was strong. Okay. So now, what pivot caused the move out? Well, this guy did, so this would be our entry zone. Nvidia comes back down here, though. We got problems, or it has problems. But with this massive, ridiculous, massive move up, if it comes down there, then I think the world's coming to an end. But you do have the fair value gaps, the imbalances on the weekly here. So there's an imbalance. I mean, it's charted, so I guess maybe I shouldn't do that, but let's do this. So what I would like to see with Nvidia is a move down here. I want this area, see, kind of where we dropped a little bit, shows some support, and then we continue to skyrocket up. That's what I would like to see with Nvidia. Look at that on a monthly right quick. I mean, sitting in all-time highs. It's always nice to have something like this in your portfolio. All right, what else? 3, 1, 2, 1. I like the 2-1 setups a lot. And then we got some hammers. So let's take a look at American Airlines. It's a nice cheap one to play. So on the month, what do we got? Well, down, 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 lower, lower, lower. Now we're kind of consolidating. All right, so on the month, notice fair value gaps are getting filled all over the place. So if I had to chart these out, this gap almost got filled. Acted as some support there. There's a smaller one right below it. Not going to be able to get to the... There we go. And then there's another one all the way down here that pretty much got filled, but it looks like it didn't, but that acted as some support. So again, this is a good example. I like to draw the imbalances or the fair value gaps on like a really large time frame. In this case, we're looking at it on the month. You can kind of see why they act as support, or on the flip side, they can act as resistance. Look at this fair imbalance up here, right? Example, this one's filled, so it's not valid anymore, but price came back up into it, filled it, and then dropped. So it acted as some resistance here. We have up above, well, another one up here. So if I'm sitting here looking at price targets in the future, it's maybe something that I would be looking to aim at. That one hasn't been taken out yet. All right, let's go to the weekly. All right, what do we see? So here's our lowest low. So let's get, we know we have a downward trend on the monthly. Weekly, still kind of downward, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have this guy. So there's our downward trend. Kind of just back charting a little bit here. This was a market structure break because we decided to start moving up instead of continuing moving down, right? You don't want to have your pivot points higher than your previous pivot point for a downtrend. So this was our market structure break. We failed it. And you can kind of see why. Again, you're looking for a lot of green candles with imbalances in the flow. So you want to see it go up. And just, I guess, draw that right quick. So you want to see it. Oh, maybe not. Where'd my pen go? Oh, whatever. Oh, it changed the color to red. Got it. Yep, so Mark Strikes Break failed. Now what? Well, this guy was our order block. Last candle there. And the other thing you could call it is liquidity, right? So if I wanted to chart that out, there's some liquidity. We took the liquidity out, moving up, still showing. I mean, this is now our lowest low. So we're back in our downtrend. So let's move this over here. So here's our new lowest low. Therefore, we take that pivot lower high, and this will be our market structure break. We broke above it and then failed again. So would I be looking at American Airlines long right now? No, definitely not. We're playing with a very narrow scope of things, and I get, from the scheme of things, if I know the options are cheap, but right now, just because it's essentially going sideways, it drops down here. I mean, if I wanted to get something long right now, I'd be waiting for it to come back down to this $13 area where this liquidity area where it's previously pivoted quite a bit. I'd be looking at that because we're getting dangerously close to this. What is it? The support resistance flip zone right here. Yeah, I mean, if anything, if we don't drop now, I could see it coming up here and then come back down again. And that's what I would be looking for. I'd want to see this area would be my entry zone if I were going to play American Airlines. All right, what else? FDX. I guess they had some earnings that people didn't like, but looks like they kind of shrugged it off. Let's go look at the month and get an idea of what's going on here. Is there low high? So if we're looking at the month, our market structure break is going to be around the 275 area. Tried kind of strongly. I mean, it propelled up that way, but it didn't continue to push well. So, what are we doing? So our monthly order block would be sitting here. I'm not going to do the wick on that one. We came down and tapped it. Look at that. So this is demand. Came down, tapped it, and then started recovering. So that's stuff that you can see if you're looking at a higher time frame, like the month. All right, now if I am looking at the week, all right, great example of market structure break right here. Lower, 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 sideways. Here's our lowest low, so I'm going to get the lowest high pivot of that. Here's our market structure break, super duper strong. Why? Well, again, a lot of green bars, imbalances. imbalance. No, can't do that apparently. Overlapping imbalances even. There's plenty more up here, but they've all been filled. That's my point. So when you're looking at the market structure breaks like this, we see it happen. So yes, we missed out on the big move up. But what that gives us the ability to do is chart out a potential entry area where we set an alarm. It's a long-term alarm. Obviously, we're looking at the week. It took the better part of 2 years, it looks like, to come back down here if we're sitting here trading on the weekly. But hey, investing is a long-term game, right? So if this was our monthly order block, if I wanted to change that, I'd be looking to make an entry zone here, right? That'd be my entry zone. And then when price comes out, I'd look on a smaller time frame, day, 4 hour, 2 hour, whatever. Wait for a strat entry out of that entry zone. Obviously, you want to see it act as some support and then pop out. So that would have been the play there. Did not get this play, obviously, since I didn't have this charted. But that would have been, hindsight being 2020 there. And that's part of why I do this, right? I mean, I chart because it gives me the ability to kind of back test strategies and see how things work. Don't always work, but gives you a good idea. So that's why we're doing this here. So anyway, what are we doing now? Well, on the weekly, again, FTX has been going down. Right, so that's what we got. Where's our lowest low here? Right here. Our lowest lows here, but we're going to be looking at a market structure break up here. Right at that support area. So if I wanted to even chart that out or put that on the chart as a support resistance flip zone, you can. And the indicator I'm using for that is just called support resistance dynamic. But it changes based on the time frame you're in. So if I move to like the day, that zone, see the dotted lines a little bit further down now, just because the lip area has changed. So anyway, yeah. Now what are we looking at? Well, two sides of the story here. So if we wanted to play this long, you're waiting for it to come through. Oh, the brush. What is that guy? There we go. So you're okay. That's what I was looking for earlier. So you're waiting for it to come back down to an order block, in this case, our entry zone, let's say. So we'd be looking for price to come down here and then go that way, right? That's if you want to do long. So down here is what we're waiting for. Set an alert down in that, 180 area, let's say. But we're in a downtrend. So what we would want to be doing is playing towards the downtrend. So let me get rid of that. Why can't I get to that? There we go. Okay, so what do we do with the downtrend? Well, we're still looking for our market structure break. So in this case, we are going to... wow, sorry. I am losing my mind here. Taking our highs high. I'm sorry. Wow. Yeah, sorry. I've lost my train of thought. So we had a continued pivot. This is a breakup structure, not a market structure break. Since we are playing the downtrend, we haven't pivoted above this particular high, right? This market structure break, if we were looking to play things longer, again, we want things to move down. But what we do have for continued downward movement is our break of structure. It was strong. You can see the imbalance that left here and it's been filled. But now what we need to do is find our potential supply zone, the order block there. So we're going to take the pivot here before the massive break of the last green candle. And that would be that. And this will be our supply order block. So we're sitting in our supply order block right now. So if I wanted to play this short, I'd be looking for a downward move outside, right? Like, so my entry would probably be somewhere. Oh my gosh, get rid of the magnet. There we go. I'd be looking for this to drop down through this little tiny fair value gap that it has here. And well, actually, that looks like it's been filled below that candle. 213.81, and the high of that candle is 213.31. So no, it definitely wasn't filled yet. Got super close. Anyway, I'd be looking for a move down at this point. So we're sitting in the order block. That'd be my short play. We're sitting in the order block. We reject. Could end up seeing some pivot area right there, but yeah, I'd be looking for a move back down that way. Our entry zone would ideally then, go back up. That would be my play there. Mm-hmm. And then the contrarian play. So we've charted both sides out. Again, this is a 2-1 setup, so it could go either way. We do have a hammer candle, so it is a red hammer candle, but nonetheless, that means buyers stepped in at some point to drive the price, overwhelm the sellers at least to make a hammer. Now, the other thing is we are in an uptrend, but we have not broken the structure yet, right? Like, this is still a downtrend on the month. We haven't gone back up yet, right? Yes, we made a higher low on a pivot here than this one, but we have not continued upward yet. I mean, heck, you could almost say we've just been moving sideways if you look at it a big enough time frame. But anyway, back to the weekly. So the other opinion here is that it could go up, right? Price could go up because we don't know. Indecision. It's an inside bar. We had a lot of those this past week. So now what I'm looking at is where, if price did go up, what would be my entry? So this is our break of structure, just because it's our previous pivot high, drop down. So if we were to go up and come back down, if we just go up, let's say, this is now our entry zone. So I'd want to see price. I'd want to see FTX go up, retest the entry zone, then go that way. So I could set an alert over, I would personally set it over the 2-bar high there of 238 even. So price comes down and then gets back above 238. And then watch it go up. Keep a tight stop loss though, and keep in mind you do have this support resistance flip zone. So that's obviously going to be an area of interest, but there's a lot of things that have combined right here to make this a very hard thing to potentially get in long. Get in long for. Again, support resistance flip zone. We have a supply order block, previous liquidity, and overall market conditions right now are kind of not so good, right? This past week wasn't great. So FTX, what else? Microsoft, we did QQQ, UAO, so the airlines, we did American Airlines. Yeah, let's try DraftKings just for fun. That'll be my last chart today. Always like charting this one. Mainly just it's a nice, cheap, fun one to play, and it doesn't follow the market at all, it seems. Don't know why. But it's been going sideways. So as of right now, it's trying to get over this market structure break, right? Our lowest low. Here's the Market structure break. That would be the market structure break line. So it just hasn't gotten above it. So I actually could see taking DraftKings short for a move back down. My entry zone would probably be around here. Yeah. That'd be my entry zone. Okay. Anyway, that's going to sum that up. So one thing I do want to let you know, I put a website out here, get you more information. You can email me, you can follow me on my socials, all the stuff's down here. So definitely check it out, GodzillaOptions.com. You can see what the premium stuff on the Discord has for you. Otherwise, you can just join the Discord. There's an open chat where people share ideas, and you can ask questions about the strat and stuff like that too. But yeah, definitely check out GodzillaOptions.com, and I hope to see you there. Happy trading.